Well, hello there. I'm here today to talk about the Z Flip 4, and right here I have the Z Flip 3. The new phone is pretty much going to look exactly like this one from everything that we've seen, but there's a secret weapon under the hood. Actually, there's two of them that actually make it possibly a good pickup for somebody who really liked the Z Flip 3, but just couldn't deal with it because of the battery life. And the battery life on the Z Flip 3, on average, I got about 4.5 hours of screen on time, which for me, that's not very good. For a power user, I said the Z Flip phones are not good for power users. One, because they don't have a big battery, only 3,300 milliamps. Two, they have a lot of power, which burns it up even faster. Three, has 120 hertz refresh screen on it, which burns up even more battery. And four, the charging speed is very, very slow. So when you take all that stuff, it's a perfect storm of if you burn through battery quickly, it will die quickly. And then you got to wait a long time to recharge it as opposed to newer technology. So what excites me and the secret weapons under the hood of the Z Flip 4, the battery, which is going to be improved by almost 10%. So everything we've seen across the board, we're looking at a 3,700 milliamp battery as opposed to a 3,300 milliamp battery. So that's an additional 400 extra milliamps. That goes a long distance because if the 3,300 will already get you 4 hours, this should get you at least 5 with that extra bump. But the other exciting thing that you get is the new processor. So what we're looking at is the Snapdragon 8 Plus Generation 1. And that's two processors removed from the Snapdragon 888, which I was really surprised they went ahead and were bold enough to go with the 888 in this because, one, it had known heat issues. Two, it wasn't very power efficient, contrary to popular belief. So then we got the 8 Generation 1, and I'm actually glad that they skipped on that one to go to the 8 Plus because even though the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 is supposed to be better, people say it has more heating issues than the 888, which I don't know. I find that hard to believe with all the disaster and the chip fiascos and the throttling and everything we had to deal with last year with the 888. So on paper, looking at the Snapdragon 8 Plus Generation 1, it's about 10% more powerful than the 8 Generation 1, but it's about 30% more power efficient than the 8 Generation 1. So that means the same workload, 30% better battery life on paper. And I got to put the air quotes around that because they say that every year. Every year, every new chipset, they're like, oh, it's 10 to 15% more powerful and it's 20 to 30 more percent battery savings on power. I don't know what tests they run to actually figure that out. But yes, they are a little bit better. If you're going to see 30%, it's probably one of those things like when they do the EPA estimates on your car where they say it gets 35 miles to the gallon, and that means the air conditioner is off, the windows are open, there's no air conditioning, you're driving on the salt flats of Utah with the 20-mile-an-hour wind behind your back, it's 70 degrees outside, you're going 55 miles per hour, and you're drafting behind an 18-wheeler. That's how you get the optimum gas mileage. When it comes to optimum battery life, what is optimum? Right? I mean, that's a moving target for everybody, and that may sound like a cop-out, but for me, optimum battery life is about 6 hours. I need 6 hours of screen on time to get me through a typical day. At least till 9 o'clock at night when I can plug it in and top it off. Most people don't need that much. Most people can get by with 3 to 4, even 5 hours of screen on time. That's considered a lot. Once you get to 4 or 5 hours of screen on time a day, that's a lot of time using your phone with the screen on, unless you're just neglecting it and leaving the screen on all the time and don't realize you're killing the battery. So I'm expecting to see at least 1 hour extra of screen on time. So if we factor in the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 is about 20% more battery efficient than the 888, and then they say the 8 Plus Generation 1's about 30 more percent. That's not 50%. This is like the VA math, right? So we do 20% extra and then 30% more than that. So when you combine that together, yeah, we're probably going to see about a 30% actual increase. I don't know. Don't check my math. I barely passed college algebra with a C, and by the life of me, I don't know how I passed trig. Not a math major here. Like, I don't do this because I'm a math expert. So the battery life should be better, though. I'm expecting at least 1 to 1.5 hours of additional screen on time. So if that brings us to the 5, almost up to the 6 hours of screen on time, I think a lot of people will be a lot happier with the phone, and there'll be less complaining, less wailing, gnashing of teeth, tearing clothes, like setting these phones on fire in the streets. Like, it's not going to happen. So that means it'll be very, very usable. And that's been the biggest criticism for the Z Flip 3. Most people really, really like the phone. Almost every person I know that tried out the phone loved the phone. They loved the flipping, and they loved the closing, and they loved the compact form factor and all that great stuff. It's a premium built, premium feeling phone. there's going to be some nice things. If you've got a Z Flip 3, this is going to be probably the only reason you would want to consider upgrading, because from everything we've seen, it's going to have the same screen on the outside, basically. I think exactly the same. We're going to have the same cameras. It's going to have the same screen. There's not a whole lot that's going to change in this new one. Now, we're going to get a thinner, less deep groove there. It's going to be a little bit slimmer, a little bit lighter. I think the hinge on the back is going to be a little bit shaved down some more. So some of those great things, but the biggest thing, that battery life. Now, the power is already good. In day-to-day tasks, yes, it is going to be more powerful, but you're really not probably going to notice too much of a tangible difference when you load up Snapchat, when you load up TikTok, when you load up Twitter, whenever you're trying to do things. That's not where the power is at. When we moved over to the 8 Plus Generation 1, and now when we moved over to the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1, the 8 Plus Generation 1, we've got the 4nm technology, more power efficient, but there's also more AI cores. So what you get is a lot of extra power with the computational photography and the post-processing and different features, like when it comes to the camera, less loading time, less waiting time when you do your night mode shots, stuff like that. And you should have less heat because it's less burdensome on the processor when you're performing those tasks and also regular tasks. And that was also a problem. Sometimes the Z Flip 3 got kind of hot. So those are really the things. If you've got a Z Flip 3, you're looking to get a Z Flip 4, then that's probably going to be the big selling point. Not even so much the power, but the efficiency that you get, the better battery life, and the bigger battery. So those things combined, I'm expecting to take this to the next level for people to actually use. Now, here's the thing. When you're running those processors full bore, they still burn up a lot of battery. If you're sitting there playing Diablo Immortal on your phone, you might not see 5 hours of screen on time. What I'm talking about is mixed use. So if you play a little bit of games, shoot a little bit of video, a couple pictures, do a TikTok, do an Instagram reel, use your Twitter all day long, stuff that I do all the time, then I'm expecting, I hope, at least 5 hours of screen on time. And I'm going to test this thoroughly when it comes out, because I want to test it, make sure it's verifiable, debunk it if there's an issue there, because that's what people care about. And that's the incentive to buy one. So if you don't have a Z Flip 3 already, the Z Flip 4 is going to be a really good deal, because it's going to have all the great things that the Z Flip 3 doesn't in the battery and the power department. Of course, the Z Flip 3 prices have dropped a lot, especially on the resale market and in the recertified market, and also there'll probably be some good sales on those once the Z Flip 4 is here, because carriers are going to want to get them off the shelves. So it could still be a good time to get a Z Flip 3. However, it'll be here on August the 10th, and we can find out about all the great bold claims as Samsung stands up there and tells us how it's the greatest phone in the world, how it's going to revolutionize life, change everything we know about existence, and unlock the mysteries of the universe for a flip phone. Anyway, I like it. I think they're cool. I love the foldable phones. I love the flip phones. I'm excited about the Z Flip 4, mostly for that reason. That was the killer for me carrying this on a day-to-day basis. This is one of my most favorite phones in the last 2 or 3 years, with the Z Flip, the 5G, and now the Z Flip 3. But the battery life has always been the Achilles heel for me to be able to use it as a primary phone, because for me, they would be dead by 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So here's to hoping, but that's my thoughts on it. That's my predictions and projections for the Z Flip 4. What do you think? Are you excited about it? Are you waiting? Are you anxiously sitting by your computer and your phone waiting for August 10th to get here so you can see what great things that we have at the Unpacked event? Sound off in the comment section. Let's talk about it. We'll have some discussion. And if you have any questions or comments, please go down to the comment section. I will get back with you. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.